enorgullece saber que las próximas generaciones van a tener una ciudad más verde, más tranquila, saludable.
Informal settlements are not a problem to be removed. They are communities that need to be supported.
We are actively shaping the world that we live in. It's precisely in the richness of those different perspectives coming together that movements can lift off the ground.
We want the public to reimagine what's possible in a library, to see them as spaces that are theirs and that they can demand a service.
I'm so glad to be here. I actually tell people that this is one of my favorite things to do. My name is Lulu Garcia-Navarro. I am a journalist. I work for the New York Times, where I have a podcast called The Interview, and I also am a CNN contributor. And tonight I'm going to be your host. And the reason that I love doing this so much is because in my line of work, you know, it can be a little depressing sometimes. And we often talk about how we change the world, how we help people. And coming here tonight, I get to interact with people who are actually doing that very thing. And we are here to celebrate and honor them. And that to me is one of the most beautiful things that you can do. So I actually want to start this evening. There's going to be a lot of applause, but please give a round of applause to in such a valuable way. Tonight the focus is going to be on health. It's not just our cities, but our health. Because when we talk about healthy cities, what are we talking about? We're talking about, of course, whether people can breathe the air. We're talking about whether they can safely walk down the street or take public transit, whether they have access to parks and to shade, and whether everyday systems that people rely on to support their well-being and dignity and opportunity are there for them. And right now, that question feels pretty urgent, doesn't it? Cities sit at the intersection of climate risk, of inequality, and of public health. And the choices they make shape daily life for millions of people all around the world. But cities are also where progress can move fastest. It's where innovation happens. They're the engines of change and collaboration, and they're able to turn these bold ideas into action at scale. And that's where the Wir Ross Center Prize for Cities comes in. It's what it's all about. The prize is this global award that celebrates and elevates transformative urban change. Projects that apply bold ideas to urgent challenges, deliver real impact for residents, and create ripple effects far beyond where they began. The 2025-2026 cycle is guided by the theme, Catalyzing Healthy Cities. And tonight, we're going to spotlight 5 remarkable finalist projects that we saw there, from Atlanta, from Loja, from Makassar, from Manila, and from Nairobi. Each one reshaping urban life in ways that are healthier, more inclusive, and more resilient. And this evening also marks a very special moment. This is the 5th cycle of the prize, and a growing body of evidence that cities already hold many of the answers to some of the world's most urgent challenges. The question is, how do we learn from them, support them, and bring what works to as many people as possible? To begin, I am honored to welcome WRI's President and CEO, Ani Dasgupta, who has done this work so beautifully. Ani has spent his years and career championing cities. He helped launch this prize, and now he leads WRI's global work to build a better future for people nature and the climate. So please, a round of applause.
Thank you, Lou. I don't see very well, everyone. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. This is wonderful that you're here. It's going to be absolutely inspiring. You will be happy that you're here. But I'm happy you're here. I think, as Lulu pointed out, I think we need each other more than ever. So I'm glad that you're here. And then we are celebrating the absolutely fabulous finalists here together. I just want to point by saying that, as Lulu said, her newspaper is something we read. Reading a newspaper these days has become an act of courage. Honestly, you just don't know what you will find, what kind of crazy thing has happened yesterday. And a lot of, it's a weird moment in the world. A lot of really things that you didn't imagine would happen is happening. Creating a lot of harm to a lot of people, especially poor people across the world. What we're not going to do today is talk about what's in the newspapers. What we're going to talk about what's not in the newspapers. We're going to spend the evening looking at things that don't make it to headlines. Is actually across the world, leaders in cities, just like the 5 you will meet today, are really creating solutions, innovating their way out to make people's lives better, day in and day out. And they're creating practical solutions that work, testing it, expanding it. And that's what we're celebrating. This is actually happening at the same time the insanity that you read in the newspaper also is happening. Our job here is to highlight them, celebrate them, so that we can learn from this, from their experiences, but the experience of others like cities. So that is what we're trying to do here. And cities, last year, I published a book about how change takes place. Of course, there's a chapter on cities. And I argued that cities, and this literally the chapter is called Factories for Innovation. The cities are factories for innovation, which is absolutely true. But I think today, if you look at the world, I think if I wrote the book today, I would also talk about how cities are places of hope, of optimism, with practical solution that's happening between leaders and citizens, and they're creating. This is a place for civility that we need, and I think we should celebrate that. Cities have been a center of innovation since they were invented. Cities were invented about 10,000 years ago to actually innovate, for education, for culture, but most importantly, to increase quality of life. And those tasks for cities actually have remained the same since then. There are 5,000 cities in the world right now, about more than 100,000 people. There are more, 20,000 people also call themselves cities, but about 5,000 largest cities in the world. And each one of them today actually need to transform. Running cities have become harder, much harder than 10,000 years ago. There are more people there, a lot more pollution, congestion, and impacts of climate change impact citizens everywhere. Cities today, as you know well, most people in the world live in cities. Most poor people in the world will soon live in cities. So how cities work, how they function, how we live in them, how they're managed, how they grow, how they create jobs, how they make our quality of life better, is incredibly important to all of us, especially people who live in the cities. This is the reason that Ross Prize was created. Because we don't know enough of these innovations that's going on in cities across the world, and they are going on across the world. And the Ross Prize was created to identify them, to find out through this prize process, to celebrate them. Today we're going to celebrate 5 of them. But more importantly, learn from them. At this moment in the cycle, we have more than 300 applicants. In the whole 5 cycles we've had the Ross Prize, there were 1,200 applicants. When you go outside after this event to the reception, you will see some of them, a beautiful exhibition that we put together of the past prize winners. That is what, it is not just celebrating, which we will do today, but also learning so other people can learn. And that is what we're trying to do with this prize. That is what we have the prize for. And this matters. You know, the first prize, which we held in Hudson Yards, the winner was an organization of Dar es Salaam. And they had a simple idea. How do you make kids going to school safer? School kids were getting hit by cars, by motorbikes. A simple idea how to make it safer. And by that, they showed that by making safer for kids, you actually make it a better city for everyone. That particular group, because of the prize, is now actually expanding all over Africa. They're funded by the World Bank. So this kind of recognition does matter, so that we actually can learn from them, but also those ideas spark and go across the world. So that is what we're trying to do. And about this is looking at this 1,200 prize with or prize applicants. You know, three things become very clear, and I hope these three things you take it to heart. One, you know, transforming cities is absolutely possible. You will hear from 3 or 5 of them right today. It is possible. It is doable, and this is the example. Number two, that leadership for change can come from anywhere. City governments, civic organizations, businesses, citizens. And the third, each one of these is actually orchestration. They have been successful in orchestrating change, bringing different organizations together and collaborating, partnering across silos of different government agencies or businesses. This partnership or collaborating at scale is the key to actually creating change that lasts. One of the key partnerships I just want to end by saying is the partnership we've had with Stephen Ross, who's sitting right here, and his family for more than a decade. Me personally, because I've arrived for longer than that. And without Steve's absolutely visionary partnership, real partnership, his financial support, but actually working with us throughout this prize itself was his idea. Actually, when we were a few years in the Ross Center, said, how can we expand it so that globally we can recognize leadership? And this is what the prize is. When we started, we said, we need to do it for 5 years to actually institutionalize it. I think we have done that right now. And without Steve's support, and now both his daughters are here, who are increasingly actually partnering with us, I couldn't be happier. And his idea that cities have to be a platform for change. He himself right now is building and shaping a city in Florida, and he hasn't stopped. So Steve, if I can ask you to come over here and share some thoughts, and as you walk over here, I just want to thank you from all of us in WRI and all of the change makers across the world who has benefited from your vision and support. Thank you. A big hand for Steve.
Thank you, Ani, and thank you all for being here. It's a very exciting event. You know, when you think of an idea and how you can really, and understanding the importance of cities in the future and how they're growing, we have so much to learn. And to really, having an award was the idea of, like, as Ani said, is to really learn from it and kind of disseminate those learnings around the world. And I think you have people that really have an appreciation for the importance of cities and the needs of the people within those cities and supplying those needs. It's really, you know, we all have a lot to learn and we can all make it better. And I think that's what really the idea of the prize was, as Ani said, is to learn and really kind of bring that knowledge through WRI, through the Ross Center, to those cities so that they can really function. And being able to do that is a great thing. But going through the prize was really interesting, is how we select the winners. And you know, there's a jury of really tremendous people, and you review all the reasons why those cities were selected. And then you kind of, in your own mind, you know, kind of have a feeling of what you think is the best one. But then you start hearing other people's ideas and how their interpretations and what they see it's amazing how your mind changes. So I don't think I've ever gone into like the selection process where I thought I was the best and having the result at the end of the day. So, I mean, a lot of hard work, and I really thank the people of WRI for the work that they do in selecting the cities and then working and really selecting the winner as well. I think Roger, who's really, I think you're speaking next. He does a great job in really making sure that information and the staff and the enthusiasm of everybody is fantastic. And I think, to see this grow from the first beginnings of the ideas and what it's become, I mean, it's something that I get a lot of pleasure out of. And I really feel that the best days as we learn is, everybody in this world will benefit by it. So, thank you.
It's incredible when someone puts so much work behind something so important. And I'd like to welcome someone else who is doing the same. Someone who spends their days thinking about how cities can meet the moment that we're in. Ruhir Vanderberg trained as an architect and has spent his career working at the intersection of design, urban planning, and global city leadership, including leading UN's Habitat's Urban Lab. Today is Global Director of the WRI Ross Center for Sustainable Cities. He helps guide WRI's work with partners around the world to build cities that are more inclusive, resilient, and low carbon. So please join me in welcoming Ruhir.
Thanks everyone for being here. It's a full house. I'm really happy to see that. And let me first start to say that my job is not going to be any more glamorous than this, right? This is the moment where we celebrate cities. I mean, I couldn't wish for anything better than that. Each cycle of the Ross Prize actually shows that a lot of the success, a lot of the challenges of this world actually start in cities. And the solutions in cities can help us to rethink what it means for countries and for bigger issues in the world. But we also see that, and we see that with all the change makers that here in the front row and there behind, is that a lot of successes start with people with a passion to change lives of other people. And I do think that that is one of the most remarkable, one of the most passionate things one can aspire to. So thank you for doing that. I want to and that mission of really trying to drive change is deeply, deeply connected to what we're doing with the Ross Center. Our center, our teams work with partners in cities every day to make lives better for people. And for us it's very important that it's about real change, not a floating idea, not a policy that doesn't get implemented, but about real ideas. Tonight is also very special for us as a team for the Ross Center because it's the 5th time that we're doing this. So it's also a capstone moment. And I already said it, we had 1,200 submissions so far, 25 finalists, of which are 5 waiting intention for what's going to happen next and who wins the grand prize. But it's remarkable to see that this has become the biggest prize for cities on earth. And thanks, Steve, for your visionary idea. 10 years ago, he called about it. And he said, you guys need to do this because cities can learn from each other. And I can tell you, cities learn more from each other than they learn from us. I swear it. And you know that. For us, it's also a capstone moment because we take learning very seriously. Only if other cities learn from other cities, things can be transmitted. And I'm very happy to have you, Colleen, speaking after me, and to have Yale, the Hickson Center for Urban Sustainability, to be a partner with us, to really drive this learning that is all based on the deep knowledge that we developed over 5 years, over 5 cycles of the prize. What we also did, and many of you here in the audience asked us to do that, is that we created a prize for cities database. That means that we have a lot of solutions, the 150 long-listed projects, so you can navigate them by geography, you can navigate them by topic. And we already see that practitioners and researchers use that in the world to bring solutions and to bring innovation to their cities. In that same spirit of learning, and we heard it already before, we've also developed this beautiful exhibition outside, so please pay attention, how to make a city. So based on 25 finalists, we really thought through what are sort of the key elements for making a good and sustainable city for all. Tonight, we're extremely proud to have the finalists with us, to hear from you, to hear your stories. In Atlanta, United States, the Atlanta Beltline is transforming former rail corridors into a network of parks, trails and transit that reconnect neighborhoods, and that expands access to opportunity. In Loja Ecuador, Sistema Verde Urbano is restoring rivers and green corridors throughout the city, improving flood resilience while creating vibrant public spaces for residents. In Makassar, Indonesia, the Revitalizing Informal Settlements and Environments program, RISE, is improving informal settlements through community-led upgrades that enhance health, safety, and quality of life. And then, in Manila, the Philippines, the Move as One coalition, a volunteer movement born out of the pandemic, has brought together government, civil society, and the private sector to reframe transport as a civic right and shift funding towards sustainable mobility. And in Nairobi, and you know it's a city dear to my heart, I lived there for 6 years, I know the city well. The book bunk is reimagining historic public libraries as welcoming civic spaces that expand access to knowledge, culture, and opportunity. Together, these projects, they show the many different ways that cities can catalyze a healthier urban future. And the leadership shows that transformative urban change is not a sort of a distant ambition. It's really there. It's already taking shape in cities across the world. I'm almost done, but before we continue, and you know, Steve, you're the most important person in the room. Yeah, you all make this happen. But there's 2 other important persons in the room, and I really want to acknowledge them. Jennifer and Kimberly Ross, your support and your passion and dedication, and hosting the jury deliberation, helping us to host our annual advisory group is very meaningful for us. So please, maybe you can stand up and we just thank you for your support. Yeah, thank you. No, really, it is very important. We couldn't do the great work that you see from the Ross Center without all these people being extremely, extremely supportive and passionate. So now it's my great pleasure to invite partner in crime, Pauline Murphy-Dunning, Executive Director of the Hickson Center for Urban Sustainability at Yale University. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
Thank you and good evening. It's my pleasure to be with you tonight to celebrate the transformative work of this year's finalists. Over the past 2 prize cycles, our partnership with the Wir Ross Center for Sustainable Cities has been grounded in a simple but powerful shared vision to accelerate and scale solutions that are already happening. From the beginning, this has been about recognizing that cities are already leading and asking how can we help that leadership travel further and faster. That vision closely aligns with the Yale Hickson Center mission to bridge science and practice in service of vibrant and healthy cities. At a moment when cities are really on the front line of the climate crisis, this partnership has helped us understand better not just what works, but how to accelerate change. Together we have focused on connecting people, insights, and action. A core part of that has been convening, bringing together the finalists, experts, and students at Yale to explore the dynamic of urban transformation and how impactful solutions can scale. This cycle, we're especially excited to be connecting the finalists of the prize with our learners in the Yale Urban Climate Leadership Program, which builds the skills needed to mobilize and proven solutions. Just as importantly, we're committed to ensuring that these insights don't stay in the room. Through co-produced case studies in our practitioner toolbox, a newly launched working paper on climate readiness, we have translated the lessons from the prize into resources for researchers and practitioners worldwide. Through our Hickson Research Fellows, we've also supported that development of the prize public database, which captures findings from nearly 150 shortlisted applicants and helps build a stronger evidence base for urban transformation. This year, through the new co-hosted exhibition of How to Make a City, we're synthesizing these lessons in a new way, creating space to reflect on not only what works, but what comes next. The exhibit really underscores a clear message. Bold local action can spark global momentum for change. Cities are already holding many of the tools they need to confront the climate crisis. What's needed now is to fast-track that change, moving beyond the early pioneers into broader systemic change. By spotlighting the finalists, the prize for cities reduces risk for promising approaches and clears the way for others to follow. The projects honored tonight exemplify not only measurable impact, but also the collaborative work required to achieve it. In each of our Hickson resources, we pose a pretty simple question. What can your city do? I hope you'll carry that message with you tonight. Finally, on behalf of Yale, I'd like to extend our profound gratitude to Jen Shin and her WRI colleagues. We're so grateful, and we really look forward to deepening and carrying forward our partnership in years ahead. Thank you.
What can your city do? That's a great question, and to inspire us, we are now going to the best part of the evening, in my opinion, not that I haven't enjoyed hearing myself talk. But you have to now join me, please, in welcoming the representatives of our 5 finalist projects. And I'm going to call you up one by one, and you will take the stage from Atlanta. I feel like I need music for this. From Atlanta! Yeah. All right. United States of America, Wir Ross. De Loja Ecuador, Juan Pablo Díaz, por favor. From Manila de Filipinas, Haya Benjana. From Nairobi, Kenya, Angela Wachuka, please take the
We are so honored to have you here tonight.